Hey everyone, welcome back to Work-Life Wellness. In this series, we're joined by heads of wellbeing from leading global organizations who share their expertise, experiences, and actionable strategies to enhance employee wellbeing and foster a thriving culture of wellness. Today, we're joined by Yulia O'Mahony, who's a global head of health and wellbeing at PMI. In the conversation, Yulia shares how workplace wellbeing has evolved post-pandemic, the importance of storytelling and peer support, and how simple employee-driven initiatives can transform workplace culture. Yulia, how are you?
Lovely to see you, Chris. Very well, thank you.
I wanted to start by asking, how have you seen wellbeing evolve in your time in the role?
Excellent question, because also I joined PMI at the end of the pandemic, or tail end of the pandemic. So it was 2021. And at that point, our well-being scores were quite low. It's about 50, 52. Over the years, they transformed. So now we have about 72 at the moment in terms of measuring our well-being. There is a lot more acceptance of the need to take the time when you're feeling unwell, but also the need for more of a human factor, such as needing flexibility and needing also some connection. So finding this best of both worlds, and I think it made a huge difference. So on one hand, people were absolutely thrilled to be back in the office, to see their friends, to see, just to connect as a team physically. But on the other hand, you don't want to be in the office all the time, because flexibility gives a huge advantage. And we still remain very committed to keeping the flexibility going. But generally speaking, in terms of the well-being as an approach, what we saw is a lot more interest and commitment to the topic from the senior leaders as well, because they saw impact on themselves and their teams during the height of the pandemic. But now they can also see that well-being it's an outcome of lots of different things done well within the company. And more I see the recognition, and there was some research done by McKinsey that points in that direction, that relationships within teams is what is the biggest contribution employers can make.
What would you say has been some of the programs, initiatives that you've rolled out over the last couple of years that's had the biggest impact?
The biggest impact, I would say, was launching our Wellbeing Champions network. Having someone there to help, and having these Wellbeing Champions, we branded them Be Well. They have their own branding. They have executive sponsor, and we have our quarterly meetings. We have lots of different governance around this initiative. But it is gratifying to see, first of all, how much people take out of it. So as a champion, you feel that you're helping others, and it's super energizing and uplifting. But also you see the impact the champions make in terms of starting from changing someone's days to changing someone's life, and being there to support people and offering supportive conversations, but also acting as energizers. And I think it kind of unlocks this bottom-up movement that people want to join with. And actually, one of our co-chairs of this network, she said, we want to be Cool Kids Club. And we want to be something aspirational. One of our champions in London organized Mindful Walk and near St. Paul's, where offices are. And it was pouring down with rain. It wasn't the plan, but British weather. And it was so well received. And you just think it's a small thing, but it made a huge impact, because people stepped away from their daily routine. And it also brought people together. And then you suddenly realize what you're not paying attention to.
What advice would you give to your peers who maybe are thinking about doing something similar, building your own champion network, etc.? Now you've gone through it, I'm sure there's some lessons that you've learned.
I think the first thing is start small. So select either one market or business unit, and some of the most energetic and driven champions, and experiment how this would land in a particular cultural context. But provide training to these champions. So one thing is recruiting them, but making sure the training is robust to make sure that, first of all, they learn how to set their boundaries, how to have supportive conversations, and where to go for help themselves. And also keeping things simple, because it always, there's so many interesting, exciting new developments, but keeping it very basic and connecting with stories that people tell their colleagues, and giving them opportunity to bring their own story and share that at town hall. It just make it kind of humanizing
100%.
as well.
It's not like another initiative or a thing that's being done, right? It's real, like,
exactly.
Through storytelling, there's no more, in my opinion, there's no more impactful way
absolutely.
to communicate this work. But listen, Yulia, I appreciate you taking the time, and I wish you all the best until we next speak.
Thank you. Thanks a million, Chris. Thank you for having me.
Thanks for watching. As always, if you want the full picture, make sure you download WellHub's Work-Life Wellness 2025 report via the link in the description. Until then, have a great day, and we'll see you next week.